We'd like to thank our Honorable Principal Sir, Professor Zamin Saini, for allowing us to organize the event in the auditorium. Because of which we are able to conduct a large-scale program of computer science and engineering for facilitating this course of the event. Without its facilitation, this event would not be possible, thanks to the Department of Computer Science and Engineering. Moving ahead, I'd like to introduce you all to today's keynote speakers. The first one is Dr. Srishti Vashishtha. She is the Assistant Professor in the Department of Computer Science and Engineering. She has completed PhD in Sentiment Analysis and Social Media Domain from Delhi Technological University. She has about 6 years of teaching experience in esteemed institutions. She has qualified GATE and UGC NET and has published 12 research papers in Scopus, Web of Science Index International Journals, and IEEE Springer International Conferences. Most of her papers are implemented in Python programming language. She has received DPU Research Excellence Awards for the year 2020, 2021, and 2022. The second keynote speaker is Harshit Gaur, second student of the senior year computer science.
The first keynote which I am presenting is about introduction to Google Cloud Platform and Google Cloud Facilitator program. You will have a hands-on experience also. So those who are interested in learning how the Google Cloud works and how can you develop and deploy your applications and machine learning models, you will learn today. Okay, also we are having a hashtag Google Cloud Ready. So if you want to take snapshots or click photographs, you can do that, and you can share on Twitter handles using the hashtag Google Cloud Ready, right? That the tweets will be retweeted. Okay, so welcome to the Cloud Facilitator program. What this program is all about, this is an opportunity for all the students who just want to kickstart their career in cloud, and they want to get hands-on practice on the Google Cloud, which is the premier tool which powers Google Search, Gmail, and YouTube, which I have just interacted with the students in the paper. Right. So along the way, we will learn some more concepts on computing, application development, big data, and machine learning using cloud, and how can you scale it up? Because we know we can develop the applications local in the system, but when we want to make it available for the public or we want users for it. So this is the content for the first track, which is the cloud infrastructure. In this, you are basically preparing yourself for the different careers in IT and DevOps. Basically, in this track, you will learn about how to make the networking concepts in the cloud, how you can deploy clusters using Kubernetes, how you can use cloud engineering. You can deploy clusters using Kubernetes, how you can use cloud engineering. If anyone is interested in game development as well, you must have known that there are various agents in the games which interact with each other. So everything is possible using Google Cloud. The sixth is the DevOps essentials. DevOps is a very much trending technology nowadays, and many companies are hiring for that, right? The last four tracks are very important because understanding your Google Cloud cost. Everything doesn't come free on the cloud platform. You have to take a paid subscription for it, right? And it is also advisable that you do not do any activity with your personal account, otherwise you will be charged in a hefty amount if you are doing so. I'm just telling you with the personal experience. Then you have the Google Cloud Operations Suite, which teaches you that how can you manage different users in the architecture roles. You can add, remove admins, editor, viewer, right? The second track is all about the cloud native application development. So if you want to make a large scale app, I know some of the students who have participated in hackathons, you might be using Firebase as the serverless backend, right? But if you want to scale your application to the next level, and if you want more users and analytics basically in your app, so these are the 10 tracks which will train you for. So basically you can deploy, you can use, you can make a website on Google Cloud, there are millions of APIs which is served by different third-party applications like Dialogflow, Maps, YouTube, Search. So you can enable different APIs and you can make requests on the APIs which will serve the purpose. You can also build various website apps serverless. You don't require any major backend for it. Everything is on-premise, right? So you have the database and everything connected in the Google Cloud itself. Then we have the big data and ML for all the aspiring data scientists. So if you want to work and learn that how the data scientists use or scale up their various processes, like ETL is there, extract, transform, load, and EDA, which is exploratory data analysis. So for that purposes, Google Cloud also offers different services which can be used. Like BigQuery is the main warehouse and which has SQL capabilities. And you also have the scientific data processing if you have used scikit-learn library. So you get in-house in the Google Cloud itself. And the fourth track is about security, ML, and AI, which teaches you how you can manage the infrastructure of the cloud. Basically, when you are scaling up, there are different threats that can intersect in your application development. For example, if there are many requests on your application and your server doesn't respond quite adeptly, so you can manage everything through this particular track. This track will train you for that, right? Okay, so moving ahead, we have like many students were asking, what is a skill badge and what is a badge basically. So when you're completing the quest, you just get a completion badge from the Google. But there is a challenge lab at for every different track. So the challenge lab is basically you have to do it yourself. You will not be instructed. You will not get any commands. You just have to do it after learning from all the previous tracks. And if you complete it with a full score, you get a skill badge, which is a major badge that you can show off on LinkedIn. I will tell you how you do that. Right. So the skill badges are already industry ready. They are recognized by Google, and wherever you go for different cloud careers like DevOps engineer, CI/CD, which is continuous integration and continuous deployment, and other various cloud architecture careers, you can share your accomplishments on your profile. It will have a certain value. So here is a quick video for that.
Cloud skills are in high demand. A massive 86% of IT leaders say the skills shortage is slowing down their cloud projects. There's now an easy way for you to hone your cloud skills, fill this gap, and demonstrate your cloud competencies. Introducing Google Cloud Skill Badges. You can earn badges for a range of Google Cloud products and services like BigQuery, Kubernetes, Google Assistant, and more. Simply complete the interactive labs, which cover the latest in-demand, real-world skills you need today, and take a final assessment. Pass that, and the badge is yours. Use your badges to gain recognition in your current job or to help land a new role. In fact, a third of HR professionals say that digital badges carry weight in the hiring process. Ready to go? Start earning Google Cloud Skill Badges today.
So this was about the badges that you will earn after completing all the quests in the lab, and this is a clear demonstration that how can you reflect on your LinkedIn as well as resume, because these credentials are all verified by the Google itself. So this is the main difference if anyone is still not clear about it. So a quest is basically a self-paced learning environment. It allows you to use some of the credential and the scopes. And basically you are trained with the instruction and the commands given in the lab itself. So you just have to look and you have to learn by yourself that how do you connect to that. And accordingly you have different score for each task. Right. So Quest is basically the group of training labs. Basically training labs which will be instructed to you. And here's a demonstration of how the Quest badge will look. So in the Quest section, the badge which is at the bottom, it is a Quest badge. But on the other hand, the skill badge comes in a very nice manner, right? So it is basically a group of training labs, and at every training lab at the end, you have a challenge lab that you have to do yourself, and you can get a skill badge, which adds value to your resume and which trains you for different internships and jobs, right? So this is how a skill badge looks like, and you can add on LinkedIn as well. So these are some of the skill badges for each track, right? For every 4 tracks, you have different skill badges, and this is you can enable employers to discover your skills. And believe me, you can improve your visibility on LinkedIn and resume by 100x, because these badges hold certain value when the resume is screened through various ATS software, as you might know. So in the licenses and certification section of your LinkedIn, you can add all the skill badges after completing your challenge labs. Right? Everyone clear with this? So this is the major importance, that's why you are doing this program, because since you might be in first year or second year, but when the third year arrives, you need an internship or industry exposure to work in the real challenging environment for the companies. So you must be aware of how you can represent your resume in front of different employers. And these are some of the milestones and the prizes that comes handy. So it will just not add the skill badges to your resume, but you also get different prizes directly from Google. So the ultimate milestone is the last one, which is the 40 quest and the 20 skill badges. Any student who completes this will get a seat in the career readiness program, which is 2 months training directly by Google at their headquarters, I don't know. But you will get hands-on experience in training directly by them, and also different job opportunities offered by them. So, but this is limited, the seats are limited, so just be sure you are very quick in completing your labs and quest. And then you have different laptop, bag, t-shirts, pen, badges that you get as an acknowledgement. So these are very nice to flex in the college itself. Okay, so if we talk about the schedule, as many students were asking, the program has already begun from 25th May. You might have got different emails which are telling you how you can enroll yourself in the program, right? You might have an invitation, and it also gives you the credit pass subscription if you're accepted for the program. And the 25th May and the 25th June is the period where you have to complete all the skill badges and the quest itself. So just be sure you're very quick, because I know in the college, next month maybe end term could be there. So it is better you be very quick in completing these labs. Then after 26th June, because all the reports will be with the facilitators, so we will start sending the name of the students who complete all the quests in the labs, right? And they will be reported to the Google team directly. Okay, so the feedback form should be also filled after 26th June. And then you can get your goodies and prizes. Once you're verified, it will be delivered directly to your doorstep, right? And there is also one major announcement, because many students were not that active in the program. So the Google will start sending emails every 3 days, starting from today, about your progress, that how you are doing, and if you need any help, you can reach out to your facilitators, or you can just comment in the community on the WhatsApp group, right? So, but just be sure you're very quick in completing before the deadlines arrive. So next is basically, this is the most important thing. Many students they haven't get the credit pass, which is the first step that you need to just move ahead in completing all the quests. So how can you get a credit pass, right? You just have 5 maximum attempts for every lab that you do, either if it is free or either if it has a credit. But the limit is 5 attempts. Beyond that, you cannot attempt, and you will get an error which will say quota limit exceeded, which many students faced, and they reached out to me. So if this happens to you, just be sure you complete that lab in the 5 attempts. If you exceed, then you have to mail. I will just still help in that particular process, right? Then, okay. So this was the major thing that you have to be sure about it. These are the following 4 steps how you can get the credit pass, right? So the first thing is, I will suggest everyone who are enrolled in the program to do these labs in the incognito mode, as it will not interfere with your regular Google accounts. Because if you are doing in the regular window, so you might face different issues regarding the sign-in process. So be sure every time you're completing your quest, you are in a secure and different window, which is an incognito window, because no account is signed in that, right? Then you just have to check for the email that you might have received from Google, which might tell you about how you can get a monthly pass. There's a link in the blue button itself. You just have to copy that link. It has the campaign code, and you just have to paste the link in an encounter window. Before you don't have to sign in up till this stage. So this is the demonstration of the code, the campaign code. This is how it looks like, and it is appended in the link at the very end. So just be sure when you're copying the link, this kind of string or the text should be there at the end of the link, right? After this, you just don't have to sign in. After you get the code in the URL button, then you have to click on the sign button and you have to enter your Google credentials, and then you can, after you have logged in, the first lab, which is a tour of Google Cloud hands-on labs, will automatically start. Like it will pop up on your screens. Then you just can start the lab, and you have to spend at least 6 minutes to make sure you are recording your progress. There is a quiz in this first lab. Make sure you complete all the questions, MCQs, and then you spend 6 minutes. There is a timer also allotted, which is running in the parallel of the lab, right? So, congratulations. If you are completing these steps, you might get the credit pass, but if still you didn't get any significant help, you can just note this link. This is a YouTube video which will explain how you can get the link, the credit pass, right? So be sure you are following this link if you are not sure how to get it. Okay, so let's start. Let's talk about Google Cloud now, what technology it is. So this is the basic architecture of Google Cloud. How does it look like? This is the instance group. Okay, so what is an instance? When you want to do any computational work, there are many cloud computing instances. Like you can create a virtual machine in the cloud itself through the compute engine, and you can create a Linux, Debian, Windows, even a Mac also, depending how rich you are, right? So basically, when you are creating any instance, you just have to be sure that you have a certain limit of duration. You just can't keep it running all the time. You have to be sure that when you are doing your work, you just sign off. So this is a basic architecture. All the instances, different virtual machines are grouped together in one group, and the second group is this. Also, when you're creating any virtual machine, you have to be sure that in what region you are creating, because the Google Cloud is available globally. So you have different locations, regions allotted to you. For example, US is there, Asia, Pacific region, and India also we have cloud servers, which is facilitated in Mumbai, right? So be sure if you want to reduce your latency, you are in the nearest captivity of your region. So this is basically the first group, and in between is the HTTP load balancer. What is the load balancer? Load balancer is basically which will handle your request. If you're getting requests from the users, so you just create some rules which are called firewall, right? You might have been knowing firewall in the Windows Defender if you have faced any issue. So the firewall basically allows some of the requests from different protocols like TCP, ICP, right? So you have to be sure that you are creating any rule, and the load balancer basically switch the different requests to different instance group depending on what resource you want to access, right? This is the first thing about the Google, like the architecture of Google Cloud. The second thing is like what Google Cloud provides you for your organization. So if you are in a company and you want to set up full-scale application deployment or any software, so you have 4 different options. The first is on-premise. On-premise is the scenario when your data is in your local warehouse. It is not available to the public. When you have the raw data, in your company databases. So in that, you have access to all the services, applications, data, runtime, middleware. You have OS, virtualization, servers, storage, and networking. You can also opt for serverless computing as well. Then you have three different scenarios. The first is if your application is IaaS, infrastructure as a service. So you can opt for applications to operating system, and the rest will be managed by the provider. And if you want to use platform as a service, if you want to create any platform in the Google Cloud, you can only modify the applications and the data part. The rest will be managed by the provider, which is the Google Cloud. And the third is a software as a service. If you want the whole cloud as a software, you want the software to be running on the premises, then you need this particular service, which is managed by the provider. You don't have to intercept in that, right? So these are the three different Google Cloud models. Then is the basic tools for Google Cloud Storage, right? So when you're interacting with the Google Cloud, you need some prerequisites, right? That how can you begin with your application deployment. For example, you have console, basically, which is everything which appears on the Google Cloud. It is a console. You have it is a visual interface. You have two methods. Either you can run commands directly in the Cloud Shell, or either you can use the graphical interface to interact with the Google Cloud services. Then you have the GS utility, which is the GS util, and this command basically gives you the access to the Cloud SDK, which is already installed in your Cloud Shell environment. You just don't have to install anything. Everything you just require, whether it is TensorFlow, anything else, it is pre-installed in the Cloud Shell environment. Then you have the client libraries. If your requirement doesn't necessarily fulfills, then you can enable any of the libraries such as C++, PHP. You have many options. And then you have the APIs if you want to get some data from an external source, right? So this, I guess this is clear. The basic tools for interacting with the Google Cloud, right? Then, okay, so I think we're discerning. These are some of the important links that you might need if you are proceeding for the facilitator program. So I will just request everyone to take a snapshot, or if you want to type it somewhere, because these links. The first is a community group. If you not join the community group itself, because every news comes there, right? And the community chat group also opens today, because if you want to interact or want to solve any queries, you can do in the group itself. Then you have the GCRF site link, which has a syllabus. You have the Google, which we have already discussed. You have the cloud documentation. If you're stuck in any of the lab, or you want some reference, you can just go ahead to the official Google Docs. Then you have the command sheet, basically, right? So just take a snapshot, real quick, right? Shall I move further? Yes or no? Yes? Okay. Okay, so this was the concluding part of the first the program, about the program and introduction to the Google Cloud. If you have any questions, or if you want to ask something regarding the program, you can ask now. Okay, this is quite a popular question. So the thing is, when we have rolled out the program, so the basic target was to enroll first 100 students. But thankfully, we got 312 registrations. So the scenario is, the seats are allocated based on the level of the institutions. So every institute will get certain amount of seats. But if you want to still enroll in the program, if there is any inactive student in the program, it will be automatically removed by Google. And if there are more seats available before the end of May, then you will be notified through emails. You will get an invitation directly. So just be sure that you are in the group, WhatsApp group itself, if you want to get the news of availability of seats. But as of now, we are not enrolling any fresh students, right? So this was it. And no one has a question, right? Everything is clear to all? Okay, cool. Okay, just one thing I just want to show. If you want to take help, yeah. This is the command list, basically. Let me just briefly get a quick overview of this. So, when you are using the cloud, okay, we will have a hands-on right there. So these are some of the basic commands that you will use. So you can see that the G-Cloud, the acronym is basically a command which will give you the different capabilities. If you want to check the version, you want the components, you want to create an instance, you want to update the region, you want to deploy a Kubernetes cluster. Everything you can do with this G-Cloud command. And the gsutil is a utility command which is used in the cloud storage. So if you're creating any bucket for storing your outputs or inputs or handling the data, you can use the gsutil to copy, remove, list, right? These are the, like cat is basically for getting what is inside the document. It is a print command, right? So these are basically the Linux commands combined with the gsutil, right? And this is the GCP project. If you want any configuration services or you want to change the settings, then the GA Cloud Config is the command that you're looking for. And then you have the IAM. Okay, IAM basically is Identity and Administrative Management. So basically what happens is when you are working in a company and if you are a cloud architecture there, then you are not the sole, you don't have a sole responsibility to handle everything, right? You might have different engineers. You might have heard of a job which is a site reliability engineer. You might have heard about it, right? So what they do is they distribute the responsibilities according to what they have the capabilities, right? So on that basis, Google also provides you to distribute different rules that you can give to different engineers, right? And then you have the bucket security. Since the data that you are putting in the bucket could be public or could not be, that depends on you. So basically you can basically mention if you want to accept any email request on the Google Cloud Storage or not, right? And these are for the VM, this I have mentioned before. And if you want to, okay, Google also gives you the persistent disk storage, right? So if you want to list or create any storage device, you can directly do with these commands, okay? And if you want to check for the network and the domain name servers, if you are deploying your website, you can use these commands for the DNS records. You can create firewall rules. You can create images, containers, everything with these commands, okay? So just make sure when you are just doing the labs, this sheet is handy with you so that you can quickly have an access to these commands, right? So let's start with one of the lab, right? Let me just take you to the home page first. Okay, so this was the program which is initially closed as of now, and these are the skill badges, the prizes, and this is the syllabus. So if you want to just, if you're looking forward how you can manage it, let me just tell you here. So just go to the link. This is the link, bit.ly/crf site. So in this link itself, you have all the syllabus. You can just click on this and you can open different tracks, right? So for example, I think I am logged in. Okay, right. So if you want to enroll in this particular skill lab, you can go here and you can enroll from the link. Okay, I'm already enrolled in this. Let me just open another. Yeah. Right? Okay. Yeah, so here is the enroll in the course button. You can just directly enroll yourself and you can start doing the labs. Okay, so let me just give you the first hands-on for it. Because the time is short, so we are only doing one lab here. Okay, so this is a very important lab. As you see, this is the Cloud IAM lab. How you have to start the lab? So just pay attention here if you haven't already, right? Here is a start lab button. As you press on the button, it will either ask you for the captcha or either it will start depending on your browser. Okay, so it has started already. So here is, let me just get you familiar with this. This is the Open Cloud Console. This is the link that you're looking forward if you want to open the console, and you have the different username and the password and the project ID. All the resources that you need to complete the lab will be given here, right? Just take the username, go to the sign-in page, paste it, okay? Let me just paste password here. You will accept the terms, we are good. Okay, every time this will pop up and you have to agree with the services itself, right? Okay, when you enter into the cloud platform interface, the first time you have to check is that is your project ID is matching, which is given over here. So because what can happen is you can have different project IDs running simultaneously as it is here, right? So just be sure that you are in the particular project ID, and also you can check from here also as well, right? And okay, so the project demand is I have to open two consoles here. Just follow the instructions. Again, we will assign in the username 2. Let me just pull the password. Okay, so those who are having the laptops, right, they can quickly start, okay, because guys, if you want to settle down, you can. Those who are having the laptops, and if you have a personal hotspot, or either you can borrow from your friends, just you can start the hands-on, right? Well, let's move to IAM console. Okay, so you will see that there is an error here, okay, and you might be confused that why this error is. So basically this is intentionally done by Google. Here we will see that how we can manipulate the users in the cloud platform, right? So let us just read, these are the prerequisites. Set up for 2 users, we have already done that, right? Okay, so this is the IAM console, okay? So what happens here is that you have 4 basic rules for each service. The first is a browser, which has a limited and the minimum capability. Which the second is the editor. Editor can have like the addition and removal access. The owner has the access to completely destroy the object of the service or remove the person from the project. And then you have the viewer. So viewer is basically when you want to set up the permissions, such as that you want only the public to view but not change anything. Then you can use the viewer role as well. Okay, so we don't need to be here, right? Okay, let us just check what is our first task. Okay, nice. Okay, so what we have to do is that we have to create a bucket, storage bucket, and we have to upload a storage object here. So let us go in the first user profile. We will create a bucket from here. This is the storage objects. You can add up to terabytes of data here if you want to move the data from premises to own cloud. And to name the bucket, you can name anything, but let us just keep what we are provided in the project ID. Okay. Right? Okay, let's see the instructions. I'm just doing this for you guys, that how you will have to, you have to do when you are doing at your homes, right? Okay, so what is the requirement here? The name should be globally unique. We have done already. It should be multi-region. Multi-region will give you the access from everywhere. You're not just limited with your region. Right. Next is a storage class. Storage classes basically gives you the adaptability to how you can handle the data for how long. If you want for a short-term storage, then the best is standard. And if you want an archive, then you can go for the long-term digital preservation of things, right? This is self-explanatory, and then you have how you want to access the control. So this is the thing. If you want the access to be limited to yourself, then you can use the access control as uniform. But if you want the data object to be public, then you can use a fine-grained which has the ACL permission, right? Moving ahead, we don't require this. Okay, let us just create here. Okay. So this is quickly. Okay, so we have a storage bucket already. Now what we require is we want to create a thing. Like, let me just do this. Let's go to the ID. Here we will create a sample. Let me just see if it's over there. I will just change this object name itself. Okay, so how we will upload the file? Just go here, go to downloads, right, just try if you can do this. Let's see if it is accepted or not. After you do, okay, yeah, let me just create that itself. Okay, as you can see that this is not public here, right? Let us just check. Okay, so the first task is done here itself. Okay, the one more important thing that you have to note here. Okay, when you are just doing any task, and if the check is not done, so you can just take this flyer out and you can just press on the check my progress button. So it will automatically give you the points, right? I hope this is clear. And if you just go to the username 2, let us do this also. Let us go to the Google Cloud Storage browser. Here, right? Okay, we are not getting the permissions, right? Okay. Now what we have to do is we have to remove the project access. Okay. How we can do this? Okay. Let us see. Pay attention here, everyone. Just so in the first, in the username 1 console, you have to go to IM. Okay, so in this console, right, you will get to this is a list of guys from here. Can you just for 5 minutes, right? You can see different roles or different IDs which are added to this project already. So how you have to remove it? Just look up for your just second username. It is just user7dd, right? So just see, this is the one, right? We have to edit this principal role here. This is we have to just delete this role and we will just save, right? The policy is updated and the user is removed. So this is how you can check. So if you will just go to the username 2 console and you will check that if you have still access to the cloud computing object or not, then you will just lose the access to the cloud object. So this is the task 2 that we have done. Now let us quickly add some storage permissions here, right? So what we have to do is, okay, we have to copy this in the console, navigation item, look at button and paste username 2. Okay. We have to add a new principal. Okay. I will add this. Okay. And what role we have to do is, it is a cloud storage object viewer. Just be sure that you are giving the right roles, because if you are not giving the right roles, then the problem might occur. Okay, storage. Okay, so the role is added and we will just save. Okay. Now you can see that the role has been appended in the list, and this is how you are just adding a different user to the project. So you can add as many as principal engineers, or you want to add your colleagues here in the project, as much as you want to share, depending on what capability or the scope of the object you want to control, right? So we will just check if this is done or not. Yeah, added storage connections. Right. Okay, so with this we have completed this lab, and we don't need to create this. Like if you have time, then you can do. And this is the lab. The lab is finished with this message, right? So if you are completing this lab before time, then you just simply have to end the lab, and this will be marked as done, right? Okay, so every time you just get a feedback pop-up, you have to give a feedback, okay? So this was the demonstration, and after you just complete your project, just close these windows. You don't have to do anything because you will not have the permissions for it, right? Okay. So this was the end to the like the first session for the introduction to Google Cloud hands-on. I hope you basically the major takeaways from this session was to learn and get like a grasp of what Google Cloud is and what it provides, because there are many services, and as you are completing different tracks, you will get to learn about how you can, with the practice it comes itself. So just be sure that you are trying and experimenting on each service. Just create a bucket, check for the virtual machines, and do the Kubernetes, deploy the Kubernetes clusters according to what you are instructed to do. If you have any questions right now, we just have 5 minutes you want to ask. Anybody want to ask any question? You want to ask? Anyone? From this side? Any questions? समझ आ गया सबको? ऐसे नॉर्मली बता दो. Everyone is clear? Yes? चलो सही है. Chalo, okay. So we will conduct a quick quiz here first.
Okay.
काफी टेक्निकल था, राइट?
Yes, ma'am.
हर्षित ने आप लोगों को सिखाया कैसे गूगल क्लाउड पे लैब्स कंडक्ट करते हैं. That was मतलब essential था, because if you want to do more labs, so you should know how to do one lab and then you can move ahead. So let's start with the second keynote session, which is Introduction to Google Cloud Vision AI OpenCV on Cloud. So I hope everyone knows that Google Cloud is it is open service, but not everything is open. So let us start with OpenCV application. Google Cloud provides Cloud Vision API for various image processing tasks like optical character recognition, facial feature extraction, text annotation, etc. The key benefits of using OpenCV on cloud is easy to scale machine learning applications, easy to deploy as you get platform as service. OpenCV on demand gives you the ability to use heavy models on significant available 24/7 GPUs and TPUs. Integration with applications is seamless and hassle-free. You don't need to write much extra code. So what we are trying to tell you all is that OpenCV is a platform where you can run different applications, different machine learning applications, or any application, research point of view applications you can run. Now why I am giving this session? Because now you might be a first year student or second year students, but as you know that you need to implement projects for the third year and for the fourth year, right? Now implementing project is not that easy. So many of you might be expert or maybe learn in a beginner session. As a beginner, you have started coding in Python language, right? But how can you integrate that Python language, and how can you use that language to build up applications? So first of all, I need to see how many students know the language, Python language. Okay. So many, so few students know. Okay. So Python language is an upcoming language which is being used for creating different applications. So now what we are using, why are we focusing here is that because Google Cloud is giving you a platform to run that app. To run that, you can say language, Python language, and use some internet applications provided by Google. So two computer vision products that will help you understand images. So as all of you know that in today's real world, everything is available as an image. So if you go to a social media, you can see there are so many images, right? Or if you see in a real life scenario, if you are moving on your street, you can see there are CCTV cameras. So what are they doing? They are capturing images, videos, right? So we need to basically use these images and build some projects according to our requirements. So how can you understand these images? So there are two APIs which we will be discussing. The first one is AutoML Vision. Automate the training of your own custom machine learning models. Simply upload images and train custom image models with AutoML Vision's easy to use graphical interface. Optimize your models for accuracy, latency, and size, and export them to your application in the cloud or to an array of devices at the edge. Another API is Vision API. Vision API offers powerful pre-trained machine learning models through REST and RPC APIs. And they assign labels to images and quickly classify them into millions of predefined categories, like detection of objects, faces, read, printed and handwritten text, and build valuable metadata into your image catalog. So Cloud Vision API is essentially an analytics tool. It allows developers to imbue applications with ability to analyze images. This can take the form of application finding certain objects within an image or even recognizing faces. Now this technology can take taken a step further and incorporate into a camera which is connected to the application. You can also use these APIs for facial recognition that can connect faces with individuals and even detect mood. This is done by analyzing the positioning of the person's eyes, mouth and nose. Emotions such as happiness, anger and sorrow can be detected by Google's Cloud Vision API. So this opens up the application to be used for a variety of purposes. Analyzing images for specific content creates the potential for targeted and more relevant search results. So now let us discuss some of the use cases. The first one is for Google Cloud Vision ML API. So ML basically stands for machine learning. So this use case is doing what? Let me show. So this is a vision products search. Now you have a mobile phone. What you can do is you can upload images that contains apparel and home goods, anything like. Basically the task is to detect object. So if you have an image, you just upload it. Right? The Vision API is an object localizer. So these APIs are inbuilt. Right? So you just need to, these APIs will automatically detect the labels, like it will detect whether this object, the bounding box is being decided and what kind of object is there. Third step is user initiates product search using selected image regions and views matching products. Now suppose you have uploaded an image. Now what it will do is, now after Vision API, these are some pre-trained models and these pre-trained models are having thousands of images. So that images contains like images of jackets or you can say some stilettos, your sneakers. Now your task is that given an image, you need to classify whether this image is of a leather jacket or a sandal or a sneaker. So how it's done? Now in the second step you can see that this API is a pre-trained model where it has all these pre-trained images. Third step does a matching. So what image you have uploaded is being matched to this. And then it can say yes if the features are matched. If it can see that this image is of a leather jacket, then it will label it as a leather jacket. Then this product search uses images and specific regions or largest object of interest to return matching items from product sets. So again, another Vision API pre-trained model of product search is used. Finally, that image is being classified. You can store that images to your cloud storage and the three labels are being given. Next use case is about document classification. Now, suppose you have a text document where you need to classify. Like example would be that whether this text is about a fake news or not fake. This text is about depicting any kind of emotion or not. So how can you do that? Or if you want to label that this text is depicting emotion of happiness, sorrow, or excited, sad, etc. How we can do that? So we upload that image in the form of PDF and text documents. Now they are being stored onto your Google Cloud storage. Third step is that we have some functions, cloud functions, that are triggers, right? And the backend application is being done where it takes help of the next step again pre-trained models, Vision API. It transcripts the documents stored in the cloud storage, and then in the fifth step it again stores them back. Alright, so here the classification part is being done. Then in the sixth step, what we are doing is we are using some API of natural language. So what is natural language? Can anyone just take off it? In simple terms, whatever I am speaking is a natural language. Now if whatever I am speaking, if I take those words and work on those words. So what does natural language API does is that whatever I am speaking or whether it is in the written form, it catches those important words and try to classify that document. If we can see that the given text is having words which are depicting some positive sentiment or negative sentiment, it will classify that into that category, or it is of any emotion, so it will depict that. So it processes the transcript documents using the natural language API for entity extraction, categorization, syntax, and sentiment analysis. Now, this is the part 6A. 6B, what we're using is another API called as AutoML natural language that classifies these transcript documents using your own custom labels. Now, if you want to enter your own custom labels, like if you want to see whether the text is depicting fake news or not, or specifically if you need to capture whether this news is about cricket or not. So you can add on some custom labels to it. And finally, you can access your data quickly with improved document search capabilities. So the last use case is about image search. Now, if you want to simply search an image, I'm pretty sure many of you students have used this also. Like suppose, how many students have used this thing? That suppose you have an image which is some language is written, like suppose Chinese language is written, and you use that image, you have put that image to your Google Lens and translated that into English. How many students have used this? Okay, that's good. So see, there are many technologies which Google is working on. So one of the applications is Google Lens. It's a very nice application. You just simply need to upload or click that image at that time, and it can tell you many details. Like suppose you have seen any image of a leaf or of an animal, and you don't know what that animal name is, right? आप एक zoo में गए हो और आपने एक animal देखा, and you don't know what is the name. Instead of asking someone else, you can just click an image and use Google Lens. It will search that image on its database, and then it will quickly give you results. In microseconds, it will give you results that this is a red panda, or this is so and so plant, and these are the names of that plant. Like what are the, you can say biological name, etc. So what you can do is you can upload your image. Okay? Images are stored on the Google Cloud storage. New image notification is sent via your this application, and app engine is used, and finally your notification is being given on the mobile. So what APIs we are using? We are using Vision API. We are using AutoML Vision. So I hope everyone is clear about OpenCV, its applications. Any doubts? So the more you explore on Google Cloud, the more you will get to know how to use OpenCV. So now let us see some of the applications, innovations in computer vision with applications of Google Cloud. Now once you have read about Google Cloud, so till now you have thoroughly understood that what is Google Cloud is, how can we use different APIs. Now the question is, what can I do with this Google Cloud knowledge? Why I am studying this? Now, why are we studying this? Obviously, to get to know about the real-life applications where this Google Cloud platform can be used. So, I'll be discussing these applications: driver monitoring system, multiple object detection, fake news, deepfake, clickbait videos, sentiment analysis, multimodal sentiment analysis, and speech emotion recognition. So these are all real-time applications of computer vision which are in trend nowadays. So let's start with what is computer vision. It is a field of artificial intelligence that enables computers and systems to derive meaningful information from digital images, videos, and other visual inputs, and take actions or make recommendations based on that information. So if AI enables computers to think, computer vision enables them to see, observe, and understand. Are you able to get it? That, like, as a human, if you see an image, what you perceive, that we are doing using computer vision. How computers sees the image, understands it, and observes it. So it primarily works same as your human vision. So computer vision trains machines to perform these functions, but it has to do it in much less time with cameras, data, and algorithms rather than retinas, optic nerves, and a visual cortex. So just imagine that what a human is doing. We have a beautiful brain that processes so fast, but now what we have to do is we need to train our computer in such a way that it can do all this thing in fraction of seconds. So computer vision is used in industries ranging from energy and utilities to manufacturing and automotive. The market is continuing to grow. It is expected to reach a US dollar of 48.6 billion by 22. Computer vision. So now how does this computer vision work? Computer vision needs a lot of data. It runs analysis of data over and over until it discerns distinctions and ultimately recognizes images. So for example, to train a computer to recognize automobile tires, it needs to be fed vast quantities of tire images and tire related items to learn the differences and recognize a tire, especially one with no defects. So how can we use this computer vision? We can use, or we can say, how can we accomplish this with the help of two essential technologies, which is machine learning and deep learning. So real-time applications, if we talk about, there's a lot of research being done in computer vision field, but it's not just research. You can see that real-world demonstrations, real-world applications demonstrate how important computer vision is to endeavors in business, entertainment, transportation, healthcare, and everyday life. A key driver for the growth of these applications is the flood of visual information. So back down, if you can see that 10 years back, this much visual information was not there. This is because nowadays we have smartphones with very good quality cameras, and those images are being uploaded quickly onto your different media or social media platforms or anywhere. So if you have a lot of visual information, then only you can work, right? So the data could play a major role in these operations across industries, but today what we see is that a lot of information goes unused. So we have a lot of information, we need to get some better information out of it. Images आपको हर जगह मिलेगी. If you will check on Facebook, Instagram, there are thousands, millions of images. What are we doing? Are we working on these images? If you are working on these images with a specific goal, then yes, you are building some good application. So let's start with one of the application, that is driver monitoring system. So a real-time model for driver monitoring system uses facial images of drivers in order to monitor the alertness of the driver and prevent road accidents. So a driver drowsiness is an important topic for research, and there are a wide variety of models present. All these models use facial features in the face architecture, and in the time of pandemic, a major part of the face is covered with your mask, and due to this, traditional drowsiness detection models will not work properly. So before moving further, let me show you some video.
Driver monitoring systems are becoming increasingly important active safety enhancements to reduce accidents, driver disengagement, and driver complacency due to automation. Veoneer's state-of-the-art driver monitoring system is positioned to detect distracted and drowsy drivers by accurately measuring eye and head position, driver attention, and fatigue. The driver monitoring system can detect where the driver is looking to better understand the driver's engagement and build trust between the vehicle and the driver. The driver can be tired or distracted while texting, which may cause the vehicle to drift out of the lane. The driver monitoring system collaborates with the vehicle to provide an alert to help prevent an accident. The system will also detect when the driver's eyes are not in a position to notice that there are cyclists or pedestrians sharing the road. The driver monitoring system will collaborate with the driver and vehicle to invoke action when a dangerous situation is detected or imminent. Veoneer's driver monitoring system understands
negative, and the model which I have proposed is basically having much higher accuracies than the other machine learning models. Okay, moving ahead to the next application, it is about multimodal sentiment analysis. Now, multimodal sentiment analysis is a new dimension which combines different modalities. Now, till now, what I was discussing was a sentiment analysis model where you have a text part and you have a speech part, right? Now, if you talk about videos, if you talk about the computer vision, so videos are having images, right? So what if suppose we are computing the sentiments from images, text, as well as the audio. So this term is called multimodal because it is giving you three types of modalities. So video provides multimodal data in terms of vocal modalities. These vocal modulations in the visual data together with the text data provide significant hints to determine the correct emotional state of the opinion holder. So here you can see that deep multi-level attentive network. So here you can see this model. It is implying different models. Like here, we are just not using machine learning model, we are also using deep learning models. So as you will study in your next year, or maybe you could study in your curriculum in for computer science students, it is in your final year, machine learning subject is there. Like, but if you are implementing models, if you are building models before your fourth year, so you need to study all this using different resources. So this is basically a visual attention model where an image is being given and there are some convolution layers and we are applying some models, finally giving the output as the sentiment is positive, negative or neutral. So you can see that it is not easy to deal with images. You need to apply many models. And specifically because we are not only focusing on the image, but suppose we have a video. We are having video is being converted to, you can say that one video is having multiple images. Each image has some information. Then from the video you can extract audio part. That audio part is having, that audio can be converted, if you have audio features, then audio can be converted into text part. And then you can use those words. So this is the deep learning model that is being applied here, DLMA net model, and this is being tested on different real world data sets. And these are the results of this data set. So this is an ROC curve, and we are checking the accuracy as well as the precision recall about the epochs, the framing laws. So this might be like new to you all, but this is the time when you can learn these new things and build good models. And ultimately, a model's results are being depicted like this using different graphs. So the last application is about speech emotion recognition. So as I told you that speech is what? Speech is what I'm like right now I'm giving you speech, right? But in real life, whatever you're speaking, that is a speech, right? Now, if I want to recognize emotions out of it, like depending on your tone, if you are speaking anything in a very loud tone, this means you might be excited, you might be happy, but more chances are that you are excited or you might be angry. So if you are very loud, this means you are either excited or very angry. But if you are having a tone very low, this means what? You are either sad or you're not in a good mood, something like that. So now what we can do is, we can apply models and try to see that what kind of speech, what kind of tone you're using, and using those features along with other features of text or image, you can finally build a model and decide that you are in a happy mode, happy state, angry state, sad state, and there are many states about it. So emotion recognition is usually conducted with the help of audio features. But with the increasing number of posts on social media, textual information is also required that aids this process. So this is the model which I had built, that we have a speech part and a text part. We are extracting some features out of it. The pitch as I told you, like right now my pitch is high, right? But after this session is over, I will be in a normal tone, right? So pitch matters, energy. Now, right now I'm giving a speech to all of you, my energy is high, right? Now, once I'm exhausted, my energy will become low. So my tone will change. Then, using this text part, we can calculate some sentiment scores. And finally, apply this to a classifier. Now, in this model, I have used an unsupervised machine learning model. And then finally, I have given the states, classified this data into happy, sad, angry, and neutral. You can go ahead with more emotion labels. So, this is the model that you can fetch the speech signals, extract the pitch and the energy features, check for lexicon. So lexicon is basically a dictionary which basically gives you idea that whether this word is throwing some positive sentiment or negative sentiment. Computing of these text features, this is my again mathematical model, and finally declaring them as happy, sad, angry or neutral. So a sample would be like this. So if I have a sample audio file, this is the text part, you can see. So text part is that withdraw all the phony acquisitions at once. Now, this, if you are speaking like this, it could be that you are in an angry mode, right? Your mother is saying that just, give me this phone and don't use it, right? Or maybe your brother is asking for you this phone, that please give me this phone. So the tone matters. Like that statement would be same, but that tone matters. Now, according to that tone, your pitch value will vary, your energy will vary, and finally the score. Now, the text part will be same. You can see that text score will be same because that sentence is same, but the energy and the pitch that comes from your audio part, that will vary. And finally, we can, the model basically gives you the collection that whether this is about angry mode, like you are seeing this in angry, or it is in a sad mode. Now, you can see this. This happens because of this pitch and energy features which have been extracted out of that audio. So this is the pitch, this is a mathematical model view that the pitch is having these values, energy is having these values, and the test is having these values, and finally the emotion is having such labels. So comparing it with different models, like different you can say speakers. So like it could be again. Now if I'm speaking a sentence, one speaker will deliver that sentence in one tone, another. So like suppose you are being taught one subject by 4 teachers. You will experience that same subject will be taught by 4 teachers in a different way. So you can see that all 4 speakers will deliver that same thing in a different way. So we have done that comparison with 4 speakers in one model and 24 speakers in another model, and found out that the accuracy of this model was better than the other models. So this is all about this today's session. So I would like to conclude that moving ahead, like if you're in a first year or second year, moving ahead in your engineering path, so just try to focus on these real world projects, because having it hands-on on these programming languages will give you a hold and confidence. Not only from academic point of view, I'm just not saying that you will get good marks. You all are very bright students, you will get good marks in anyhow way if you are studying at the last moment or with your friends. But the thing is that coding skills will give you confidence for your entire life, right? So सबसे पहले तो बच्चे projects बनाओगे, so आपको वहीं पे confidence आ जाएगा, and finally when you will get placed, because placement के time पे ही this is what matters, your confidence level. Coding, अगर आपको coding आती है, right? Coding आपको आती है, and you are confident in giving the answers, right? Then the recruiter will ensure you, right? And वो confidence कैसे आएगा जब आप अच्छे projects बनाओगे? So projects can be built on, I would say, any platform, right? Google Cloud is one of them which we have done today, but you can do it on any platform, and you can learn different languages. So during this entire thing, I was focusing only on Python language, but you can use any other language also, and any other platform as well. So I would like to conclude this session. If you have any queries, you want to ask anything, please go ahead.
Anyone having any queries?
So I would like to say thank you all for attending this session. I would say special thanks to Harshit. I would like to say special thanks to Harshit because he had initiated this whole process of Google Cloud Facilitator program, and so please give an applause to Harshit.
Okay, so this was like the second keynote, which concludes here on the point, and I hope everyone knows some bit of what is OpenCV and how you can scale on cloud, and hope you enjoyed the sessions, both keynotes. So this is not just the end. There are more further steps that you can take. Those students who are enrolled, they should start doing the quiz in the labs. The community will open today, as many students are having doubts that they are not getting the credit pass. So you can just give you a screenshot of the issue and the email ID. So this will be rectified in the group itself. And for the rest, if you want more such events, you can also bring suggestions, or if you can also bring different ideas. But the thing is that this has to keep moving, because if the students are engaged and they know what skills they have to acquire at what stage of life, then that's the whole crux of the PTech, right? So let's conclude on this part, and we have two things left. One is the attendance, that was thing. I think everyone should have the QR code. Just take them out. Okay, I will call them one and all. Like you should make a queue here, and I will scan that. And guys, let's have one photograph with you all. I know the students थोड़े कम हो गए labs और quiz की वजह से सब आगे आ जाओ, सारे आगे आ जाओ.